Hello, welcome to my first impressions video of the Spyderco waterway knife. I live on a boat, so there's lots of salt water going on, lots of fish guts and all that kind of good stuff. So this knife caught my eye and I knew I had to buy it straight away. This is made out of the LC200N steel, which is apparently resistant to rusting. So, the kind of knife you would have had in the past if you wanted to have basically a saltwater resistant knife is this kind of thing. This is the Spyderco Fish Hunter. Now, this is with the H1 steel, so it's got the, I believe the steel is not exactly the strongest steel, so quite often the H1 knives are serrated. But this is a rust resistant steel that is actually hard and will keep its edge longer than this, making a knife that is got a very thin flat grind, similar to a lot of their folders like the Para 3, the Paramilitary 2, that kind of thing, and obviously a straight edge, which is just much more my style. It's got a very good stabbing profile, and it's very thin, like you see how the blade tapers to that end. So this thing here, like you say, you could icky a fish, stab a fish in the head, end a fish with this, no problem. You could defend yourself from sharks. You could probably go pig sticking with it. It's just the right kind of size for me. If you compare it to something like the Spyderco Sustain, which I can't even get in the shot, bloody hell. Oh damn. So you see a significantly smaller knife, but this knife really is a very, very big. Like you say, I wouldn't have this as a general purpose blade. This is made for pig stabbing basically, but this thing here is just much smaller, much more maneuverable, good for all sorts of purposes in my opinion. Like I say, it's full flat grind. This is my favourite grind. Sharp as hell. Got a great tip on it. Thin. The spine, well, it's a standard spine you get. Not exactly rounded, but not exactly sharp. I always have to put my first thing I do with every knife I own is put it on a bench grinder and give a good spine to it. I mean, it's never not been that way, so you know, it's nothing different there. The handle is a very, very grippy diamond kind of pattern. I believe it's G10, so it's not rubbery, and it really kind of sticks to your hand. In fact, if I put this on this carpeted table, it actually catches. You can feel it catching on the fibers and sort of grabbing on as you lift the knife off. You can feel it grabbing on, so it does tend to grab onto things. It feels very caustic in the hand. Your hand is not going to slip on this. It's normally, like you say, with knives, if you're going to do any significant stabbing with them, I like a decent finger guard. This has a good finger guard, but I feel if I were going to stab something with this knife and I had a good grip on this handle, I don't think my hand's going forward on this handle. This is the grippiest handle I think I've ever seen. That's pretty much all there is to it. I mean, there's not much to it, really, apart from that. It's a knife that's, if it's in your niche, if it's in the kind of, you know, the realm you're looking for. I mean, if you're on a boat in any sense, this is probably the knife for you. If you're a fisherman in any sense, this is the knife for you. Even if you don't like to maintain your knives, because quite often I find that even after a day where I've lightly used a blade, for example, I was taking this Bark River, Fox River to LT, and I go into the woods with this and I'll just do some very basic things with it, and then I'll come home and I'll wash it off and I'll put oil on, and then I'll notice sort of there'll be rust spots, you know, all over and such. It's like these hard tool steels really, in any serious use, just get rusty and patinas and all that kind of stuff. And if you don't mind that, that's fine. But I've heard tales that this knife shouldn't have those sort of problems. Now this is first impressions, this isn't actually a review, so I've not hard used this knife yet. So we'll have to see, but if reports I've heard about people leaving it in, you know, grapefruits for a day and all that kind of stuff, or just leaving it in salted water and just seeing nothing happen, I'll be believed. Then this is a great knife if you don't like the hassle of maintenance. You can just, you know, use it on a day, pop it in the sheath, chuck it in the, you know, in the washing or something, and then just put it in the drying rack, and it's not going to get all messed up and everything. So low hassle, low maintenance knife, which is quite nice, to be honest. I like that. I don't like having to continually oil up my blades just to stop, you know, every time I use them, I've got to clean them, oil them up. That kind of stuff gets tiresome. The handle thickness, say if you compare it to this Fox River, this is a big handle. The handle is very thin in comparison. Let's do a comparison side by side there. So Fox River, there we go. And it feels small in the hand. It feels nimble. It feels like you can just sort of rotate it around and hold it however you like. It's not filling your palm. It feels like you can hold it up here, get a good grip, choke up on it, get a good grip. This knife really does feel good. I've just been taking it out, looking at it, handling it just around the boat, and I got to say I like it a lot. So I've done some wood tests, taken some carving off a wooden stick. Seems to have good carving capabilities, about as good as this type of knife will have. It doesn't compare to a Scandi, but it's very thin, so it is very slicey. Obviously cutting things in the kitchen, no problem. This could double as a kitchen knife, in my opinion. You see how thin it is there? I mean, it's very, very thin. This would be a great light tool option if you had a heavier tool to back it up, such as, you know, say your Bark River Go Lock here. If you had something like this on your camp, can't even get it on screen, but you're not going to have to worry about how light this is, because obviously anything remotely heavy relating to wood, you've got this. For very light tasks, such as whittling and preparation of food and every other use, you've got something like this. So I don't worry about having a very light tool. In fact, I much prefer it. And the thinness of this tool means that for light tasks, it is much more excellent than a big heavy thing such as a sustain, or even this seems much heavier to use than this waterway, which is very, very light, small and nimble. I mean, it really is nothing to hold and use, but it seems to be just the right length. It seems to be really just perfectly balanced, the perfect length, the perfect blade profile. And when I saw this, I thought, oh, I've got to have that. It really does. It does fit. It fits my niche a lot, I have to say. I mean, especially when you say, if you compare it to something like the Sustain, which is just very, very big, to have to lug this into the woods with you. You know, it's just, it's, you know, it's a similar kind of idea, but this is just much, much more nimble for the task. So good in first impressions. Oh, the sheath, sorry. It comes with a fold over style Kydex sheath. I like the sheath a lot. There's not a lot to it, but like you say, it's all you need really. It's kind of sheath you could actually, with experience and the right kit, you could actually make something like this yourself fairly easily. It's just molded with a mold press. You can see, hammer the rivets in, but it's great for this knife. It's small profile, just like the knife, so it fits in there real snug. No wobble, and you can see there that the sheath really is about as small as a Kydex sheath you can get. Let me get it into this view. There we go. So it just fits right on the blade, and then the blade ends there, and you've got a little bit more. It's about as small and low profile as you can get. I like that. I really like that about this. It just goes with the whole idea of keeping it lightweight and small. Let's look at the fish hunter sheath. So this is a much more traditional sheath with rivets on either side, and let's just see how they compare. Obviously with the fish hunter, if it were the same style of this sheath, it would just be much smaller, much take up much less room on your scuba kit or on your gear. And I just say I really like this sheath. It's really good. Comes with one of these clips too on it. I've just taken it off for now. So that's a clip you can actually position in vertical carry, horizontal carry, or sort of 45-degree, a bit like I've got here. So you can have your knife at an angle on your belt, but not straight up if you don't like it digging into your hip. So yeah, really like this sheath. Now obviously no way at all for a knife with this use would you be wanting any kind of leather sheaths. I mean, I really don't like leather sheaths anyway, because they this Bark River, I mean Bark River only do leather sheaths, which is really dumb. I actually bought this aftermarket Kydex steel for it, and it's fantastic. Leather just, it absorbs the crap on your knife into the leather, holds it against the blade of the knife, so obviously you can, if you put your knife back in your sheath, it can then get crap on it. Kydex is just, you can run it under the tap it out, it doesn't absorb water drains out of it, it's not going to get mouldy, easy to wash out crud. It's a perfect option for a light utility knife such as this. Alright, that's going to be about it. Maybe we'll have a follow-up video in the future with maybe usage or fish preparation with it, a video perhaps on that. I'm thinking of maybe I'll redo my 3-tool system with the things I'm using these days. Obviously this will be in it too, but this really I think is going to be my mainstay knife for any serious trip out into the wilderness, with maybe my Power 3 just in my pocket for EDC, but it's going to be this I think for anything else. It's just I'm really quite impressed with it. It's good.